Welcome back, everybody. We got something new. I'm super excited to bring it to you guys. Today we got our voice actor, Concordia Jedi. Subscribe to him down below. It's my guarantee that you're gonna love the work that he put into this episode. Anyways, we got a new theory today. Today it is, what if Maul had tried to kill Darth Vader in canon? I did a lot of cool things with the theory, so I'm super excited about that. And I'm also super excited about Concordia Jedi's lines in this theory, so keep watching. Also, subscribe if you want a chance to win a lightsaber. I'm giving away 3 of them once we hit 10k. Anyways, as we all know, Maul figured out Siddi's plan before the fall of the Jedi. One is to assume that after the fall of the Jedi, he would have kept close ties on what it was that Sidious was doing. It was clear that Anakin Skywalker was not by his side, though Maul would have likely figured out before his death at the hands of Kenobi on Tatooine who Darth Vader was. But what if Maul had fought the Dark Lord? Or even tried to assassinate him? It'd be easy to throw ourselves into Season 2 of Rebels, where Maul could 1v1 Vader, but that would be too easy. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, Maul and Vader fought one another in Legends comic called Resurrection, and it was based off a bunch of dark side users called the Prophets of the Dark Side, creating an essentially clone of Darth Maul. This is not that. This is a story of Maul himself trying to lure in and kill Darth Vader. So we find ourselves several years after the Clone Wars, most likely around 10 BBY. Maul has hidden in the shadows, working as a criminal mastermind of Crimson Dawn, and during his time he's tried to find secrets of the Sith, and who it is that Vader is. He would assume that it was Skywalker, but how? Who could have beaten the Jedi's chosen one in combat? There was no way it was Kenobi, but it was possible. He had also underestimated the Jedi Master a great number of times. Maul knew that if he were to successfully run his criminal empire, he couldn't use their resources to kill Vader. Maul had thought on this matter since Mandalore, since Order 66, making his grand revenge against Palpatine. Maul knew that the Jedi had been dying left and right, and this was Darth Vader who caused all this destruction. Though there were Inquisitors, Maul knew he could best any one of them. But where? Operations moved smoothly with Crimson Dawn. Where could Darth Maul draw Vader? Where could he lure the Dark Lord away from his precious empire? Where could he bring an Inquisitor to kill him before Vader? Maul knew this would be the challenge of his life. Working with the Jedi would be too much work. They prided themselves on their goodness, and they would be impossible to work with. He had to act alone, or did he? Maul laughed to himself as he sat alone in the chambers. Bounty hunters, he thought. Maul reached out to the head of Crimson Dawn, Jordan Voss, asking him to call in bounty hunters across the galaxy, and it was done. Maul waited as ship after ship landed in front of him. Bounty hunters with the greatest reputations to perform: Cad Bane, IG-88, Embo, Fennec Shan, Dengar, Bosk, Zuckuss, 4, LOM, and finally the last ship that landed was Slave 1. Cad Bane snarled. He didn't like Boba, and Boba wasn't particularly fond of him. After all, he did dent the helmet of Boba Fett. These bounty hunters stood quietly before Maul, who told them all of what he was trying to do.
We are going to kill Vader. Some of you may want to work for the Empire.
Cad Bane eyed down Boba.
So, you have the option to leave. But, if you stay, you will be given one of the highest paying bounties in galactic history.
The payment for one single bounty hunter could allow them to live their lives out peacefully, without having to fight every day for anything that they ever needed. This was the bounty of a lifetime. None of the bounty hunters had left, and Maul unveiled his plan to them. On the planet Naboo, Maul placed a distress beacon for a Jedi Knight to allure one of Vader's pawns. 3 Inquisitors would eventually show up to the capital of Naboo, Theed. The 7th sister left her TIE advanced first and was flanked by the 5th and 8th brother. Maul again snickered to himself. They were no match for him. Maul would leap out of the shadows of the hangar bay where he killed Qui-Gon Jinn so many years ago, and he plunged his blade into the 8th brother's chest. Like a flash of speed, he swung at the 7th sister, who was quick to rebound, as the 5th brother ignited his blades to counter Maul's advance. They'd only fought Padawans who lost their way. None of them had close to a challenging opponent like a knight, but Maul was much stronger than any knight that was left in the Jedi Order. Maul would slice the 5th brother's arm off and knock the sister back. The brother was no match for Maul, and he kicked him in the jaw, leveling him. Maul turned his attention to the 7th sister, twisting her blade from her hand and cutting off her fighting hand. She screeched in pain, and then was asked,
"Where is this Darth Vader?"
They didn't give in. Maul smiled and stabbed the 5th brother in the chest and cut off his head, snarling,
"I will not ask a second time."
Vader was requested to Naboo, a painful trip for the Dark Lord already. Maul didn't know about Padme, but he did know about the death of Qui-Gon and how it affected Anakin's life. The trap was laid. Vader's TIE Advance landed in the same hangar bay as the sky turned to night. Maul stood behind the Seven Sister, who kneeled before him. Vader got out of his shuttle and spoke of disappointment in the sister, and then turned his attention to Maul. Vader stepped forward, and without a beat, Maul took off the Seven Sisters' head, preparing for the duel of his life, right where, for Maul, it all began. Vader ignited his blade and walked forward.
Long have you escaped the clutches of death. That is a luxury you no longer possess.
Maul used a force push that Vader deflected as his metal boots slid on the hangar, and then fire from all ends of the room engulfed the Dark Lord. The bounty hunter's traps were laid. Explosions, laser bolts, firebombs, everything hit Vader from around the room. Vader was damaged, but he used the Force to push them all back. Maul saw Vader's eyes. He looked into what fear itself looked like. A sniper shot rang across the hangar as it clipped Vader's armor, slicing through the uppermost part of his left shoulder. The next shot was deflected back at Fennec. Vader had enough. This was a fight for him and Maul knew it was time for him to shine. Their duel would commence. Vader recognized the moves from not so long ago, but he knew that Kenobi had beat him in the past, and he knew how to beat Maul because of it. Vader moved defensively at first, but knew that to get Maul, he had to change his stance. He moved from defense to offense and caught Maul off guard. Maul was knocked off his feet by a swift and decisive blow by Vader. Maul jumped back from the floor. He wasn't hit, but Vader was much stronger than Maul. Out of the smoke, blaster shots rained in again on Vader, but he was again ready. He used the Force to reach out and crush the headpiece to IG-88, and then turning the assassin droid into a ball of metal and tossing it across the room at Maul. Maul cut it in half and backed up even more. Maul then used his agility to outflank Vader as he stepped around the Dark Lord, cutting at his metallic legs and weakening one of them. More fire came in, and Vader used the Force to pull Cad Bane in from across the room to his metal hand. Vader's glove was missing, but the metal hand held Bane up as it slowly crushed the Duro's windpipe. Maul striked at Vader, who parried it. Maul was pushed down again. Vader threw the almost lifeless Cad Bane aside, and then struck ferociously at Maul, who was on the ground. Maul was near defenseless against the barrage, and he knew he wouldn't live much longer if he didn't escape. Maul kicked at Vader's hand, pushing his assault off as he backflipped and made an escape. Vader wasn't done though. He whipped his saber across the hangar and clipped Maul's back. Maul fell and then got to his feet and hobbled away to a ship outside the hangar bay and, as always, made his grand escape. The bounty hunters in the hangar did the same, running to various places around the hangar. Vader was pissed. He didn't finish the kill, but he did move towards his TIE Advance to leave the planet. The bounty hunters who remained fled. Cad Bane vowed to never work for the Empire after he was almost killed by Vader. He already didn't agree with them, but now he had a reason to resent them. The rest of them left, and canon continues as it was. Now, I like this theory. This is the end of the story. The rest of canon just happens. I do like this theory, though, because it gives a reason for Maul to stay away from Vader in Star Wars Rebels. It gives him a reason to stay away from him. And for me, it also gives us a reason for why he uses a cane and why he's hunched over when Ezra first finds him. The Inquisitors are the only thing out of canon that is changing here. Maul would have simply just killed them, though. They weren't formidable opponents to him. Now, I like the idea of the sisters and brothers being replaced, so it can honestly just be the original ones before they were replaced by other people, and I'm just going to go with that for this theory, as if this was just a part of canon, as if Maul had gotten to a duel with Darth Vader and lost. It gives perfect reason for how Maul was so uneasy and had a hard time walking in Star Wars Rebels. Obviously, there's probably a canon explanation for it. I just don't know that, but I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Tell me what you guys think down below about Concordia Jedi. I thought those lines were amazing. I can't wait to incorporate more of them into our theories as we continue down the road, so don't forget to subscribe to Concordia Jedi. Link is down below. Also, tell me what you guys think about this theory down below. Tell me if you guys liked it or disliked it, or tell me what you think. Do you think this was cool? I don't know. I thought this was a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, I love you all. Spread the love. Don't forget to subscribe if you want a chance to win a free lightsaber. And always remember, may the Force be with you.